Guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have another crime video for you guys today. So this is actually a solved case, and it is about a lady named Diane Schüler, and it involves 3 vehicles, 8 deaths, and 3 serious injuries. So like I said, this case is solved. However, members of Diane's family believe otherwise and that authorities got it wrong. Her husband, Daniel, and her sister-in-law continue to this day to fight to clear Diane's name. This is going to be like a very sad case because it involves lots of children, so I just want to warn you guys about that. And also, I don't mean to be disrespectful towards the family. I know that they have been through enough. So make sure to be respectful in the comments, and let's get into the case. So Diane Schüler was known to friends and family to be an amazing mother and a perfectionist. She was known for being the best mom, and she took the kids camping. She also ran her own company. And Diane was estranged from her own mother from 9 years old on. So people say that because of this and her not having a good relationship with her own mother, she wanted her children to have much better. Some say that this is a factor that played into her death possibly. So that's why I want to touch on that. Diane Schüler and her family went camping at Hunter Lake Campground on July 26, 2009. After packing up the campsite, she got into her brother's minivan that she was borrowing for the weekend, and she loaded up all the kids. So in the vehicle was Diane, her 5-year-old son, her 2-year-old daughter, and then 3 of her nieces. So she was driving the red minivan and her husband was driving his vehicle. They were leaving at pretty much the exact same time. They were just going to meet back at home. Diane had prearranged to stop and grab breakfast for the kids, and then she was going to be on her way. So on her way out of the campground, she stopped and talked to the owner of the campground, and they had a conversation and said goodbye, and everything was fine, and they headed off onto the highway.
Danny was parked up in front, and he had the dog, and he had the truck, and she was right behind him in the van. And the kids were just yelling. They were all strapped in their seats and yelling. What a good time they had, because they were up visiting with Aunt, Diane and so forth. So I kind of leaned and I said, "Oh, I hear you yelling." I said, "Did you have a good time?" And they go, "Yeah, we're coming back." They were so excited about coming back. And that was about the last thing they said. I said to Diane, "Have a safe trip home." She certainly seemed sober to me.
Surveillance footage shows Diane going into McDonald's with the kids. Seems absolutely fine. Nothing is out of the ordinary. She has conversations with the employees, and they do remember her being in, perfect condition, perfectly coherent, perfectly healthy. So she then stops at a gas station in Liberty, and she's headed on her way back to West Babylon. So Diane enters the gas station by herself, and she looks around for a couple minutes for some pain reliever, some pain medication. And then she asks the attendant if they sell any. He says no. And then she proceeds to get back into the van. Later, the gas station attendant was interviewed and asked what kind of condition Diane had been in, and he said he 100% is sure that she was sober and everything seemed fine. So at this point, witnesses claim to see the red minivan that Diane was driving, and it's going in and out of traffic super aggressively on Route 17 and New York Thruway.
Coming down the thruway, going to the rest area, I thought we passed her. She pulled out and got right behind us. And she was, so close to me I could see her headlights. And then the next thing you know, you started hearing the horn beeping.
It made me nervous. In fact, I braced myself for an accident because I thought she was so close behind us.
And Diane apparently called her brother, who was the father of the 3 nieces in the vehicle, and everything was fine. She said that they were going to be a little bit late because there was a delay in traffic. The call took place at 11:37, and at 11:45, witnesses then say that they saw Diane pulled over on the side of the road and that she was crouched over with her hands on her knees and she was vomiting. Approximately 1 o'clock, Diane's niece made another phone call to Diane's brother, and the niece told her dad that there's something wrong with Aunt Diane. She said that Diane was having problems seeing and that she was not able to speak properly. His brother told her not to continue driving, to pull over, and that he was going to go to them and see what was wrong.
State Police, Sergeant Temple.
Jesse, Evelyn Mallard.
This captain.
Listen, I have a family here that thinks that they might have a medical emergency of their sister, and she's got 5 kids in the car.
Okay.
Do you know, is there any way that we can track her cell phone to get a location if I give you a number?
We could try it.
So they kept trying to call Diane's phone back and she never picked up again. It was later found out that the phone was left on the side of the road. At the end of the exit ramp is marked with do not enter signs, and it informs motorists that it is a one-way.
State Police, 911.
State Police, you got northbound Taconic. There's a minivan in the right lane going southbound.
911. Hi, I'm at the Taconic Expressway. We just passed exit 100 feet. There's a car going like 70 miles an hour the wrong direction.
4 more drivers ended up calling in to report Diane. Soon after, it was reported that Diane's vehicle had collided head-on with a Chevy Trailblazer, and that was at 1:35, and her vehicle then hit another vehicle, which was a Chevy Tracker.
Police, 911 emergency.
I had an accident. Route 117. Route 117. What is this? Pleasantville Road?
That's 9. Ma'am?
They died. Wait a second. I'm not
Route 117 at Taconic? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any injuries?
I really don't know. Hold on. Let me check it out. Hold on.
Never ever changed. Mommy's head hurt. She couldn't say.
Mommy was Diane Schüler. She drove the family minivan the wrong way on New York's Taconic Parkway, slamming into an SUV, killing all 3 inside the SUV, headed to their own family dinner. The Schüler family was decimated too. Diane and her daughter were killed, along with all her brother's kids, 3 young sisters.
And her son was the only one that survived the accident. He sustained serious injuries, as did 2 of the men in the Trailblazer.
This is the picture that they took at the campsite on Saturday. It's really hard to look at, but you can see how much fun they're having, because Brian, being like as shy as he is, Erin with her ball, and Emma, Allie, and Kate, and that would be typical Diane, like, all right, everyone on a rock, pose.
2 men that were on the scene and trying to see if anyone had survived. They went into the van and they claimed that they saw a broken bottle of Absolute vodka, and it was up by the driver's area. Diane's husband claims that it was part of the camping gear and that they had vodka at the campsite and it was packed up to take back to their house. So when the vehicle crashed, everybody in it and all the items in it shifted and, flew up front, or if she had been drinking it. So Diane's entire family, including the mother and father of the 3 children that died, say that Diane was not a drinker. The owner of the campground that had the conversation with Diane when she was leaving said that she was perfectly fine and absolutely sober. So nobody understands when or why this accident happened. So eventually a toxicology report came back.
When we talk about the effect first of alcohol, the frontal lobe of your brain starts to be affected around 0.01 to 0.10%. Diane Schüler had just over 10 drinks in her at the time that she died. Her blood alcohol was 0.19%, and the vitreous humor was 0.23%, and the gastric contents were 0.25% alcohol levels.
And there was 6 grams of alcohol in her stomach that had not yet been absorbed into her blood. The report also showed high levels of THC, and they claimed that Diane would have had to have smoked a joint within 15 minutes before the crash happened.
I'm very surprised that the vodka bottle was in there. I had no idea. I don't know why she brought it home.
Does it give you pause to think that maybe, just maybe, she was a drinker and you didn't know it?
I've been with her for 13 years. Absolutely not.
Daniel, why appear here? Why keep on doing this?
The truth will come out.
But Larry, you have to understand, Danny doesn't want the other families to think that a drunk driver killed their families.
Daniel's sister has fought so hard to try and clear Diane's name. They hired a private investigator and raised money to have another test done. And so the second autopsy was done and it came back with the same results. And it was said that Diane did not suffer a stroke. They also thought that maybe she had an abscessed tooth that was really bad leading up until the days of the accident. So they thought she was in severe pain from the tooth, but that was apparently proven not true in the autopsy as well. That for sure Diane had been drunk and high. She was driving and got in the accident. So the little boy that ended up surviving definitely had some issues and learning disabilities after the accident. He did say, and his story has never changed, that mommy had a bad headache, mommy's head hurt, and mommy couldn't see. It's a very strange case, especially the fact that, you know, I know people can like live double lives and stuff like that, but the fact that, I mean, if you were gonna like pound some vodka, that wouldn't be the time to do it, especially if you're a normal person. It just seems really strange. However, I mean, you can't really dispute science and forensics. So I feel so bad for the family that lost their 3 daughters. I mean, I feel so bad for all of them. You know, even Diane's husband that is still today trying to clear her name.
I'm not an alcoholic, and my heart is resting every night when I go to bed. Something medically had to happen.
From the beginning, Diane's husband defended her. That's why he allowed HBO full access now, trying to clear her name.
I want to know if she had a stroke or not.
He has been like torn apart from the media for consistently saying that Diane was not a drinker and that he refused to believe that. The family of the vehicle with the 3 men that died, they said that they had forgiven Diane and that they pray for her and feel for her, but they have a hard time forgiving Daniel because he will not admit that Diane was an alcoholic. And also a thing to be noted that in the autopsy, they looked into her liver and her organs to see if it showed any signs of alcoholism or anything like that, and it didn't. It's hard to believe that any mother or aunt would pound that much vodka, do some drugs, be that reckless and careless while you have all those kids with you. Like, nobody really can figure out when she had time to do this. Nobody knows when she supposedly went and bought this vodka if it wasn't from the campsite like Daniel states. It's just a lot of strange details.
Oh my gosh, I see myself in the mirror. Listen to that.
She says Emma, Allison, and Katie are always with her. In fact, they are the inspiration for the Hance Family Foundation, which helps young girls build confidence and self-esteem. The Hances want every girl to be confident and happy, just as they wished for their own daughters. The foundation has become a mission for Warren.
Does it keep one person out of trouble? Does it keep one girl from, feeling bad about themselves for one day? I know we've made a difference. Where that difference goes tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, you can only dream. You'll probably do 3, right?
To help support the foundation financially, Jackie has written a book, I'll See You Again. She writes about hope in the face of suffering and the spirit of her girls.
I just wanted to say, if you guys have any case recommendations that you would like me to look into, leave those in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel and give this video a like if you like videos like this. I'm going to keep doing them. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.